Be the right club. Be the right club today. Yes!
Again, has to be careful of the speed.
What a comeback season for Hal Sutton.
Come right back toward the hole. How about in? That's the second eagle he's made it for this week.
17 years later, Hal Sutton is the Players' Champion.
He's got it going right at the flagstick. It'll be up. It is.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Be the Right Club Today podcast. This one's an exciting one for us and a very special one because we have our first student on the podcast, Miss Gurleen Kaur. Hal and I have worked with her for the last 5 years, and it's also special because we're coming to you, Gurleen and I are coming to you live from the Women's U.S. Open out here in San Francisco. Gurleen, welcome to the podcast. This is going to be an exciting week.
Thanks, Chase. Thanks, Hal, for having me this week. I'm so excited and honored to be the first student.
Well, you deserve that, Gurleen. You played so well and continued to progress, and it finds you at the Ladies U.S. Open at the Olympic Club, one of the pillars of great golf courses in the United States. How are you finding it? What do you think of it now that you're out there?
Beyond expectation. I didn't qualify last year for the ones at Champions, and I think it's a better experience for me to actually come out here and play a golf course that I've never been to before. And it exceeded all expectations. Like, it's in pristine condition. The rough is, up to my ankles. The greens are rolling great. Just hoping for the best this week. And I know, like, a lot of people have said that, like, the course is really tough, but I think it's a USGA event and it's supposed to be tough. So
that's a great attitude to start with right there. And here's something that I'll add to that. Somebody is going to win this week, regardless of how tough it is. So never fall victim to feeling sorry for yourself because it's tough. Embrace it and fight the challenge.
But Hal, it's so funny you said that. I think it was Paula Creamer's caddy said to us this week. She said that there was going to be five girls that figure out this golf course, and that the rest of the field's going to be like, what the heck? Like, how did they even play, or how was I supposed to even play this golf course? That's exactly what you're at going. Somebody's going to win. There's going to be a handful of girls that play really well and are in contention, and they accepted the challenge.
Well, Gurleen, every one of you that go there have the talent. So mindset's going to make the difference. And you can start right now with your mindset of, I'm going to fight and I'm going to accept what happens and I'm going to move on. And don't get tied up thinking about one shot or one hole. You've got a journey there that you're embarking on. It's a new one for you. And I know you're excited. We don't want to hear from me. We want to hear from you. So what do you think?
I mean, of course the goal is to make the cut, but my dad and I have also said, like, an amateur can win, like, it hasn't happened before, but an amateur could always win, and to go into every tournament with a winning mindset and, just play my game. And, this was my first time, like, really playing with a group of professionals. Like, I played with my friend, like a couple of friends I have on tour before, but, like, this is the first time in, like, an LPGA setting that I played with, LPGA players, and realizing, I hit the ball just as far as them. I'm just as competitive, and my game is there. And I feel like I have a great opportunity to do well and show that, I belong on tour, and I'm ready for the next step.
Gurleen, talk a little bit about, and how I'd like your take on this too. the difference between an event like this and a just a regular college event for you, or another amateur event. You've played in a bunch of USAMs. You played at the Women's Augusta event. So you've played in tough events like this, but not quite to this maybe extreme. How are you trying to get mentally prepared for an event like this for this week?
I think really just going, like, trying to play with, of course I want to play well, but at the same time, like, no expectations about, like, what I'm going to shoot or what I expect. Obviously I'm not going to hit 14 fairways and 18 greens every single round, and just being mentally prepared that, like, yeah, I'm going to miss it in the rough. Yeah, I'm going to miss a green. I may end up in a spot that I don't like, but there are plenty of holes on the golf course and have to keep going, and hoping to start off strong, with the par 5. And then we have one par 5 on the front nine, the first hole, and then you don't see a par 5 again until 16. So I think if I'm starting on 1, I really have to, take advantage of the opportunities. And, it's the difference, I feel like, is everyone out here is just so good. Like, everyone is competitive, strong, they have a place here. And, even the amateurs, are mostly within the top 100 that have qualified in world amateur rankings and stuff. So I don't really feel like nervous about, starting the tournament, more so excited, but just reminding myself that, hey, like, just take it one step at a time. And, you have to hopefully Sunday to keep playing good. And yeah, I mean, the US Amateur, I feel like, is a whole different tournament because that's match play. Your goal, the only goal is to make it the top 64. And then from there, it's just one person at a time to get to the top. You try to 64, 32, around a 16 and quarter semis and go on from there. But yeah, I mean, this is a tournament like I've never played before. Even the Augusta tournament was different. Like, you have 2 different golf courses that you're trying to battle out, Champions Retreat and then Augusta National. But here we're only playing the Lakes course at Olympic Club. So only one golf course to battle. And I think that's great. I know before, like at the US Amateur or the US Men's Open, like, the 2 different golf courses, but we are only playing one. So
Gurleen, I've been a long time, but I played several USGA events at the Olympic Club. Olympic Club is much older than I am. Anyway, I realize a few things that maybe our listeners don't realize. The weather is always a factor out there. As of yesterday, I heard that it was foggy in the morning and the wind was blowing, and it's a lot of moisture in the air. So that's one question I want you to talk about. And the second question is working the ball at the Olympic Club. The 4th hole in particular, I remember how difficult that hole was to hit the fairway. One of the great players of all time, Ben Hogan, said it was the hardest driving hole he'd ever seen. So why don't you talk a little bit about both those things?
Yeah, my tee time yesterday was at 9, and I'm staying on the other side of the peninsula, and we drove 15 minutes for the fog to already be over the golf course. And I thought there might have been a delay just because it was actually kind of misting at the same time. And then we ate breakfast and we got into the range, and it was blowing 25 mile per hour with fog, couldn't see the ball really, 55 degrees. And I was like, okay.
Gurleen, your worthless caddy wanted to quit right then. I'm out. See ya. I'm gone. Going to the clubhouse.
And then, but we got down to the other side of the clubhouse, and it had calmed down a little bit. And then by the time we had finished 9, it turned out to be a great day. But I'm playing at 7:00 tomorrow, so who knows about the fog? Maybe I have the same conditions I did yesterday. Today I'm playing at 1:30, and then Friday I'm playing at 12:30. So kind of similar conditions, but who knows what the fog could do. I played in the U.S. girls at Poppy Hills, and every day we had a 6-hour delay because of the fog. So this tournament kind of reminded me of that, but it's really unexpected. But I hope, we have good conditions tomorrow, but you never know. And then about ball shape, like ball shaping. Yeah, number 4 sticks out to me. I think number 1 also, just because it's such a swiping dogleg right that you have to keep it baby cut off the left side, actually, because if you get too right, you can catch that slope and then go down into the rough and driver up the left side. And then I also think about number 4 as well. Chase and I actually went to the range afterwards and we just practiced hitting hooks, like just swiping hooks to the left. And, the wind always comes off the left side, which makes it even harder to keep the ball in the fairway because there's 6 holes that, it's a dogleg left, but the fairway is all slope into the right, or it's a dogleg right and the fairway is all slope into the left. So it kind of throws you off. So yeah, we went to the range and just practiced 3-wood off the tee, swiping hooks. Then we practiced with driver as well, just big hooks around the trees and trying to fight the wind as well. Instead of playing with the wind because it's so strong out here and it's colder. I'm coming from 100 degrees in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we played nationals, and my ball was going 15 yards farther than it is out here. So that was definitely something also to consider: the moisture in the air, how far the ball is going, and the wind. So all of those things combined. And I also think about number 14, before the par 3. That one also, you have to hit a little baby draw off the left side. And then number 16 as well, and 17. 16 and 17, I think, are hard driving holes just because the wind plays a big effect into it. And I think every day, like, my alignment off the tee will change too, depending on the wind. And 17 was also a hole that we thought we would need to hit like a big, even a pull driver to fight the wind, just because that fairway is like kind of like number 4. Everything just sways to the right. So
what do you think of 18?
I like 18. I didn't think like the green was that difficult yet, but it's the green they haven't firmed up as much. I think they will. I think it'll get really tough Saturday, Sunday, whenever they get firmer. I hit 3-wood off the tee just to keep myself in play. And then and then just the first practice round we played, Chase was like, yeah, no, we're not going to be short. So then I played it longer, and longer was just as bad. Because then you're playing from the rough to a downhill green. You're probably going to run off the green. So just on that hole, on the second shot, especially, just to have the right yardage and just hopefully hit the green and 2-putt and get out of there, keep it below the hole as well.
Yeah, there's some tough pin placements on 18. So,
how when you played it, and I think even when I played it as it in the USAM, they were Poana greens, but they're bent now with a little bit of Poana. They're not all Poana. And then one of the guys was saying that they softened up 18 a little bit, and some of the other greens just a little bit. I think 7, the drivable par 4, they softened that one just a little bit, because I was telling Gurleen about some of the horror stories when I got beat at the USAM, and it was she was making me relive those moments a little bit too much. And we were talking about 18, and it didn't seem to be as severe as I remember it. And I think one of the caddies was saying that they did soften it up a few years back to make it not, the Payne Stewart issue, and then there were some other issues at Olympic on 18 where balls were rolling off the green. One of the things that I think is so interesting about this golf course is, you talked about it, G, and how you have to work it into certain holes. And so, like 4 is this big dogleg left where the fairway slopes so hard left to right, but then the wind will be blowing off the left. So if you hit a straight shot in the middle of the fairway, it's almost guaranteed to roll into the rough. And so now you got 175, 180 to a crazy uphill approach shot, and you can't hold the green. Like, it's almost impossible. This was one of the first courses I'd ever played that forced movement. The other thing, Hal, and I want to get your take on this. This golf course kind of has an old soul feel to it. What I mean by that is, like, you have to use the ground a lot here. Like, there's so many times where, like, hey, land it in the front edge of the green and let it release to the hole. It's not a point and shoot type golf course. It's more of a work it to here and hope for the best type golf course. It's an American feel of a golf course that kind of has a European kind of style to it. It's very, very interesting. Talk a little bit, Hal, about, having to use the ground and, just kind of how that's a dying breed now.
Well, we haven't spent a lot of time in America playing that sort of game. We played, it's all in the air as far as America is concerned. And, that's why the European players, when we get on golf courses that require us to use the ground, they've got the advantage because, in Scotland and England and places over there like that, they're using the ground to maneuver. You hit it over here to get the ball to go over here. Yeah. And in America, it's, shoot right at the flag. And, to me, the person that wins this week, Gurleen, pay attention here, has got to have a broad imagination. You got to look at all possibilities. And, that was what Seve Ballesteros was the greatest at. He saw everything that was possible. What happens is a lot of times, Gurleen, you look to make your shot work instead of how do I make this shot work? And, we want to go to what we know how to do. And an old soul golf course like the Olympic Club asks you to be a little bit more than you normally are. And you may even find some new things out about yourself this week. So be open to that. What do you say?
Thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. What else? The other hole that sticks out to me was 6, when we both were like, front of the green, bump it up there. Like, it's just a great shot because long is not good. And I totally agree that, I need to, like we've discussed, Chase and I, like, have to be creative, have to have every shot we can think of in the bag, and, not be limited to what I'm used to. And that's why I'm really excited to play out here and, get more creative and also watch other people see what they do as well. So,
well, for everybody listening out there, one of the great things about you, Gurleen, is what a fierce competitor you are. I mean, you want to win at all costs. And, you don't care if you have to stand on your head to do it. You want to do it. And, I admire that about you. And I think this fits into your game because you're open to what do I need to do in order to win? You're thinking about winning, not just participating. And, I wanted to add that because everybody listening, they don't know that about you. Chase and I know that about you, but everybody else doesn't. And from the first day I met you, I could see that in you. So
thank you.
Gurleen, how do you feel like you've developed that over the years? Was it, knowing your dad, knowing your sister, knowing your mom, some of it was, you were born a little bit more tenacious than some of the other people we work with. But how do you feel like that's developed over the years?
I think, especially when I was younger, my dad didn't push me to play. He was always like, it's hard. Like, you don't want to play. Like, golf is hard. Like, it's going to be tough. And I was like, no, like, I like it. Like, I really like it. And then I think it wasn't until I was a freshman that I was really like, okay, I feel like I can play in college. I want to be professional. Like, I really love this game and stuff. And then once I got into college, I realized, like, hey, like, I really, really enjoy, playing, competing, and I've always been competitive in everything that I do, regardless whether it's golf or not. It's just something that I really enjoy. And I also, it's not just my competitive, I think I just have passion also. And I try to, make every day a better day, and especially in everything that I do, and try and strive, like, to not just do aimless or mindless practice, and make sure, like, you learn from yesterday and try to be better for tomorrow. And, I'll learn a lot of things from this golf course that I'll never learn anywhere else, which is so great. I feel like I'm playing out here, in Texas, you kind of play the same golf courses, rolling Bermuda greens. And it's different to come out here and play the ryegrass, the bent greens, the Poana and everything. So I'm just excited to play and compete, really.
How, or Gurleen too, like, we talk a lot about one shot at a time and the mindset it takes to play great golf. And I feel like not only a US Open exemplifies that to the nth degree, but I also think that, this golf course specifically, you have to completely plot your way around this track. You've got to hit it here, and then you got to hit it here, and then you got to hit it here. How do you think that all US Open venues are like this? Do you think that the US Open itself exemplifies this whole thing of, like, if you don't stay in the present, if you don't stay committed to what you're trying to do, the line is so thin from failure to success that it will completely eat you up and spit you out?
Well, I think the USGA has been known for enforcing that with setup and, of course, the venues that they choose. And, you have to play one shot at a time. I'll give you an example. When I was Shinnecock is much the same way. You got to use the ground to maneuver the ball. And hopefully you play an event at Shinnecock one day, Gurleen. You'll look forward to that. But, I was in the U.S. Open at Shinnecock, and now Chase mentioned a word that I want to talk about for a minute. He mentioned commitment. And, I was in the lead at the time, and we were on the par 3 on the front 9, and I pulled out a 6-iron, and I wasn't 100% sure of it. And I'll never forget this. My caddy set the bag down in front between the ball and the hole. I'm in the last group with Greg Norman. And here's my caddy setting the bag down between the ball and the hole. I can't hit the ball because the bag's in the way. And he walks over and looks at me. He said, "Now, boss, put that club back in the bag, and the next time you pull one out, believe in it." And there's a really good lesson in that. Don't hit any shots this week, Gurleen, that you're not committed to, whatever you're fixing to try to do. Don't go into it hoping to do something. Go into it trying to make sure you have a plan and you want to execute the plan. You're great at that, but these golf courses suck us into something else sometimes. That's what the USGA is known for doing. And it's not something that they're trying to trip you up. It's just the way they set golf courses up. So one shot at a time, and don't hit one uncommitted.
Sounds good.
Any surprises this week so far?
Besides the rough, no. The only thing that really surprised me was the greens weren't as fast as I thought they were going to be. And I also think that's because, like, they haven't gotten there. Probably they might double roll them once we get around. I also didn't realize how, like, steep the bunkers were. Like some of the bunkers that you step into, you can't even see the pin. But other than that, not many other things. Before I came, I looked at the course online and everything, and I knew that there were a lot of, sweeping holes and dogleg left, dogleg right, ups and downs. So I felt like I was quite aware of what I was coming into. The only thing was really the greens were not as fast as I thought, but they're still very firm. I had a couple of 9-irons rolling out 10 yards, 10, 15 yards. So
Hal, did you talk about the difference between a U.S. Open golf course on a Wednesday versus a Saturday afternoon versus a Sunday afternoon?
It's weather dependent on how different they're going to be. I don't think the USGA sets up to, make it a whole lot more difficult. I think they want a fairly consistent golf course the whole way. I don't think they want it to be like this crescendo on Sunday that's so difficult. I mean, it might come to that, but it'll be more weather related than it will be some decision that they make. To me, a USGA event is totally everybody there is talented. The winner is going to have control of their mind. That's just the truth. And, the atmosphere around there, what's the atmosphere like? It's different than any place you've ever been, probably.
yes, for sure. Just everybody respects the fact that you're there. Everyone is super polite and greets you with respect. And when when you walk around, Brooke Henderson, Siri Pak, like all of the great players, Aylin Kim, the girl who won last year at Champions, you just feel, like you're at the US Open, and everyone I think is ready to start also.
Well, it's an honor for you to be there, and embrace it, feel it, you deserve it. You earned the right to be there.
Yes, thank you. That 36-hole qualifier was a lot different than out here.
I bet.
G, you've had a great season this year, or had a great season this year at Baylor, had a couple wins and a bunch of top tens and stuff. Talk about how that's prepared you for this, and how, how your preparation has differed, for an event like this versus just any other event.
Yeah. So last year we started off 3 wins in our fall semester, and I won the first 2, and then my other teammate won the third one. And then we had great momentum going into the first next 2 events. We won 5 straight events in a row. We were ranked number 1 for the first time, I think, for maybe 2 months or something last year. And then we kind of hit we feel like we hit our peak, and then we kind of, you have to come down at one point. We went to South Carolina and we played not so great there. And then we went to Arizona for 2 weeks to practice for, just the conditions in Arizona, because Nationals is in Greyhawk in Scottsdale. That was a good experience, getting to play more desert golf. And then I played great at Big 12s, was really hoping to play regionals. We got rained out. And Nationals was just a great experience. We didn't play good the first day, but we rallied and made the cut. And, I tried to play my best on the last day. We would have a great opportunity to go in to make match play. But, it's different in college because the resources are different. Of course, I only have one golf course that I can practice on out in Waco, and just the grass is all Bermuda out here. And to prepare for it's a little different to be able to prepare for this kind of event. I did some different preparation for this event. I tried to go out to Dallas and play different courses there that are more bent, because I knew it would be way different out here. And obviously I can't get much ryegrass out in Dallas or Houston, but just trying to go out to golf courses that have faster greens, just to get used to it. And just also mentally preparing for the type of shot, you do work on the range and do work on the course, and try to set up similar scenarios that you think might arise. And also in college, like a lot of the golf courses that I've played, I've played before. So I know what to go into, I know what to expect. And it's also like I have my team there, and we try to, help each other out, and I'm going to have my coaches. But here it's just, caddy, then mom and dad and sister. And it's just a whole different tournament altogether. You're playing for yourself, not your team. And this is like the next step, professional golf, tour life, what I hope to be after graduating next year.
So, Gurleen, you're starting the week out with the tallest caddy out there. But another thing, you got probably the best caddy. And, Chase has some qualities that are important to you. He knows your golf swing. He knows you, and he cares about you. And let me tell you, those are all the ingredients of a great caddy. I had a few of those in my lifetime. And let me tell you something, the security of having somebody on your bag that cares. And when they tell you something, it's coming from a great spot in their mind. It's coming from all the wisdom and knowledge that they have. And it's also coming from their heart, because they care. So I wanted to say that during this podcast, so I could give you some confidence. You're not going out there, alone,
Mm-hmm.
and we back here at the Academy are going to be watching, and we care deeply too. So with that said, have you taken any of the sites in San Francisco? It's one of the cities in the United States with a lot of personality.
No, I think we're going to go. Well, we had dinner yesterday at the Bay Bridge, but I think we're going to go to San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge and Pier 49 tomorrow because my tee time is super early. Just been trying to practice and get the golf course in before, going to see the sites. But I've been here before. I've seen everything. So, trying to focus more on golf before I get back into tourist mode.
Well, I didn't mean that necessarily from the tourist mode. Sometimes that helps to relax.
Yes, true.
So
for sure.
Maybe take that in a little bit. So
I will.
How Gurleen's a good player when her motto to her caddy is show up, keep up, and shut up. or no, wait. No, it's the other way. It's I've got to show up first, then I've got to shut up, and then I've got to keep up. I got the order wrong. Sorry. G, you mentioned something that I want to touch base on a little bit because I know our listeners followed, and this is a little bit off subject, but you mentioned regionals. You were a part of the crazy regional site that got Twitter all worked up. We were talking about that a little bit last night at dinner, and there were a couple of things about that story that I didn't know about. So quick little recap there. You guys were down in Baton Rouge, and you got a bunch of rain. It got like 14 inches in 3 or 4 days, and they ended up the NCAA decided that they couldn't play, and then they basically went off seed. The top 6 teams went, and the top 3 or 4 individuals went, whatever it was. And Twitter had a big uproar over that. You guys were one of the teams that were ranked high enough to get through. You'd had a great season, and you guys got in. I know you wanted to play. I know that you guys showed up to show off that you were one of the best teams there, but you guys got in through the ranking, and there was a lot of issues from that. Tell us a little bit of a firsthand look or behind the scenes look at what you guys saw that week and what you guys experienced.
Yeah. So practice round was perfect. No rain. It was a little windy. It was like 90 degrees. And, I was hoping for a good week. And then we looked at the forecast and it said rain every single day. And my coaches, they all had a coaches meeting with the NCAA. And the NCAA told everyone, look, if we don't get 54 holes in, then it's going to go down to 36. If we don't get 36 holes in, it's going to go down to 18. And if we don't get any holes in at all, we will go off of the seeding because that is what is in the NCAA handbook. And so the first day it had rained overnight as well. And we didn't even go to the golf courses because the lightning was so bad outside. And we ended up getting rained out on the first day. And we went to Topgolf, super relaxed, just trying to make up for the time. And then Tuesday, it hadn't rained overnight as much as the day before, but the golf course was already in horrible shape because I think the head pro was telling my coach that the Baton Rouge had gotten so much rain the 3 weeks before. So the golf course, during the practice round as well, there were mud balls everywhere. So we got rained out on Tuesday as well. And that was the beginning of, a lot of the other, not in the top 6 teams, uproar. Like everyone was super upset that we weren't playing, but then we got to the last day and we went to the golf course. It rained overnight. It hadn't started raining. We were in a weather delay first because of rain, but not because it was pouring, but there was lightning in the area. So we were supposed to tee up at 9, and then we got delayed to 10. And then we got delayed to 11, and then we again got delayed to 12. And people were super upset. But the reason why we kept getting delayed is because the NCAA couldn't get the golf course in conditions to play. If we were to play, we would have played a par 65 because there were maybe 5 or 6 holes that we had to make into par 3s just because there was lakes running through the course in the fairway where we had to play from. all the bunkers would have been lift clean in place. Like not even lift clean in place. I think they would be unplayable. Like if you went in the bunker, you could just, and if you didn't see your ball, you could assume it went in there and then drop outside the bunker. And I didn't know if it would have been playable or not. I had never been in that kind of situation before, but I definitely do feel for the seniors and the teams that didn't play, of course. It was just an unfortunate circumstance, but I mean, the top 6 teams can't control the weather, like neither can the NCAA. And at the end of the day, we played great all year, and I really do think we deserved our 3rd seed. It was just, there was a lot of things that went into it that, we can't control. And I think the delivery itself was what made it so confusing, because there were a lot of things that people didn't understand. Like we would have destroyed the golf course if we had played, 12 teams trying to get 36 holes in on the last day is just not applicable. And I also don't agree that 18 holes is fair for us to, make an NC Nationals berth. Like I think it should be 36 holes. And if we don't get any 36 holes in, it should be based on seeding. And there have been a lot of talk about also trying to play on Thursday, but in the NCAA handbook, it's written that we can only play Monday through Wednesday. And I think after what happened at Baton Rouge, there will be a lot of change. I think they're going to make an adaptation to allow us to either play the practice round day or an additional day on Thursday. I don't think we will be allowed to change venues just because, the bid goes in for the regional site way before, the years before. Like you put in a bid for a regional site 5-6 years in advance. So there's nothing you can do to change the site. But I think we should definitely be allowed to play on a Sunday or a Thursday instead of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, it was obviously an unfortunate situation. I wanted to get your take on it, because there was 2 things I didn't know and never even heard. I didn't know from you and hadn't heard online anybody talk about. Was the first one was NCAA bylaws about having to play Monday through Wednesday. Because a lot of people said, well, why don't you just delay it to Thursday? You couldn't. It was against the rules. So that's an NCAA issue. The other thing that I didn't know either was that if you guys were going to play on that Wednesday, it would have been a par 65 or 66. Like I had no idea about that, and that never got out. And I think, somebody brought up a good point the other day and said, if this would have been a USGA, this would have been the US Open that week, or USAM, they wouldn't have played. They wouldn't have played either. So it was just kind of an unfortunate situation that I think you had an interesting take on it because you were there. And I think it was such a hot topic that we definitely needed to ask you about.
Gurleen, ready?
Yes, I am.
Right. That's what I wanted to hear. So,
I am.
Yeah, y'all have fun. Usually having fun on the golf courses, making a few birdies and not making a lot of mistakes. But we wish you all the luck in the world, Gurleen, and in spite of your caddy.
Hey, I'll shut up. I might not keep up, but I'll shut up. That's for sure. I'll be quiet.
Well, Chase caddied for me a couple of times, and I have to tell you, I had to pull things out of him at times. I'm like, hey, what went wrong there? Like he might have had an answer.
Funny, I think I've told this on the podcast, but I don't know if I told you this, G. We were playing in Florida at Boca, and this was the second round that he had played. He shot even or went over the first round and hit it okay, but was just a little rusty. And he turns it like 2 under, and we get to 10, and he holes out from 110 yards on 10 for eagle. And we're like, nice. We're 3 under for the day, 3 or 4 under for the day, 2 or 3 under for the tournament. We're like 15th on the leaderboard. Like I'm pumped. He's just cruising. He's done this before, but I'm all fired up. We get up on number 2, and it's a back left pin. And we had said all along, don't go long on 2, don't go long on 2. And it was a little bit into the wind, and we pick a club, and he's just feeling it. And he flushes it right at it. And right when it's in the air, I go, oh no, that's long. Oh no, that's long. He's going to kill me. Oh no, that's long. He's going to kill me. And it lands right on the flag, goes over the green, and we're dead, like literally dead. And it was like, you idiot, like the only place we can't, and he was saying the same thing to himself, like, you idiot, we can't hit it long here. And we were just, we were kind of rusty he was getting back into playing, and I hadn't caddied for him at all. But it was one of those times it was like, man, the only place you can't hit it. And I remember walking up that fairway and I was like, sorry, boss, that was my bad. Sorry, boss, that was my bad. I was trying to take the heat as quickly as I could. But it's just
a team effort. But let me tell you, that person holding the club has the most to do with it. So it was my bad. I should have let off of it a little bit.
You hit it too good. You hit it too good. All right, Gurleen, any other thoughts? Any other things about this week that you're looking forward to?
Oh, I haven't had a burger dog. I need to have one of those.
Ooh, burger dog.
Yes.
Awesome.
I've heard they're great.
Okay.
Other than that, no. Just excited to play. I feel like I've been here since last week. So just excited.
One thing, Hal, I want you to mention real quick that I wanted to ask. How do you keep yourself from letting the US Open wear you out? How do you stay? Because that's one thing. We've had 2 really long days. Yesterday was a really long day. Monday was a really long day. And today we're only going to play 9 holes, so we're trying to pace ourselves. But how do you pace yourself for US Open?
Well, you just realize it's going to be a long week. Be prepared for. I was always prepared for the worst. And that's kind of what you have to be. You have to start the mindset of things. The weather could be bad. It could be long days. There could be delays. You could be at the golf course all day long until late. That happens a lot at U.S. Open. So you just have to be prepared for it. And I think it's mindset. We talked about mindset several times on this podcast and several times today. And I think Gurleen's up for the challenge. And I see her shaking her head yes. And,
yes.
And you know what? This is the first. This is something that I think needs to be said. This is the first of many U.S. Opens for you, Gurleen. This is not the only U.S. Open that you will ever play in. And so if you keep that in mind, I think you can keep things in perspective. You don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. There's a lot of pressure that goes in U.S. Opens. And, don't put it on yourself. The world's trying to put all of it on us that they can. And, you've been prepared, and you've been preparing yourself for a long time. And first of many U.S. Opens for you.
Thank you, Hal.
Amen. All right, G, one last question. If for our listeners at home that have kids that are getting into golf, aspiring to play golf, I feel like you and your dad and your mom and your sister and everything, I feel like you guys have done a really good job with just everything that it takes to try to get to this level. What's your advice for a 13-year-old girl at home or 12-year-old boy at home that's wanting to be great at golf?
Yeah, I'd say get a great teacher.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Hal, and I appreciate that.
No, seriously, I think there's only so much like a parent can do. My dad was my coach up until I was 12, and after that he was like, look, like there's things that I don't know and I can't help you with, and a professional is what you need to help your swing and also help your game, and even mentally. When I was 14, 15, I started looking into mental psychology and just trying to figure out, like, how do I build confidence on the golf course, and how do I become a confident person as well at the same time. And just being able to, I think also a lot of things go, if it's regardless whether it's a girl or boy, just being able to have friends and have fun. When what I think was what really helped for me was I had a sister. I had a sister who played, and we made it fun. And my dad also played. But, if you're the only kid playing, it can get boring, lonely, challenging. And just being able to find friends, find a group of girls or boys that play, and go out there and just grind and have a good time. I think First Tee does a great job also of, getting the same age group kids together and things like that. And there's a lot more academies now, Axis or things like that, help younger kids get with other younger kids at the same time. Because I think being with others that play golf as well is important, just to keep it fun, because it can get boring as well.
That's exactly right. Golf's a very lonely sport. I love that advice. Hal, final thoughts?
I'm excited. I'll be watching 7 o'clock y'all play. That's 9 a.m. our time. Yep. We'll be watching right here at the academy. Those scores go up. So do it one shot at a time.
I will. Thank you, Hal. Thank you, Chase, for all of your support and for having me on today.
Well,
yep. First student. You'll always be known and go on the resume. The first student of the Be the Right Club Today podcast.
Well, I'm glad I could be there before it, blows up.
You're going to blow it up right there, girl.
That's right.
You're going to go out there and play great as an amateur, and we had you on talking about it.
Thank you.
Everybody listening at home, check her out at Gurleen Kaur or Kaur, Kaur. Check her out or check out the women's Baylor golf team. Coach, is it Grobel? Grobel, right? Global. Coach Global. Jay does a great job with you guys and the team, and we've been fortunate to watch him play and have a lot of success over these last couple of years. And as always, check us out at Hal Sutton Golf, Chase Cooper Golf. Check out the website. As always, if you guys have any suggestions on topics or any podcast stuff, we're always listening and always want to make this as good as we can. Gurleen, thanks again. See you in a couple hours for another practice round.
Great. Thanks, Chase. Talk to you later, Mr. Howell.
Be the right club today. Yes!